Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What do we got over here? We have this. Joey Gutman. Just to show you how quickly the daf gets ingrained in our family, my 9-month-old has frequently sat on my lap while I do the daf, and recently discovered a new trick. Keep on dafing, Joey.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
This Motzei Shabbos, I just want to remind the Olam, this Motzei Shabbos, we're going to be in Ranana. So don't come to the basement. You can come to the basement, they'll probably be showing it here as well. But live Shir Ranana in Hebrew and in English, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. For all the Siyumim, mdysiyum.com. Somebody just sent me another one. I think I'll show it if I have it. Peretz Chaim Levine, setting up a station in Landau's Minion Factory. You can also set up a station. I'd love to see Mendy and Reb Nachman in a station in the middle of the Merkaz. That is my dream. Mamish.
I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen. So.
Why? To get another person to do Torah. You can make an example. You can make an example. Shamshi did it. No busha. With busha, he did it.
It's not a thing.
Dear Eli Stefansky, I brought 2 people to the daf in 24 hours. Keep on dafing the props the last few days, and the skits were incredible. Attached is a picture for the upcoming MDYCM in Albany, New York. Yours, Noah Tai. Somehow, Fischl got into this also. I don't know. Maybe it became a thing. Once he's in there already, now the island's just going to keep on putting in. Fischl mitzvah motivators. Gewaldig. The raffle. It's geschmack. Tomorrow's the last day. People from Eretz Yisrael. Mayor Koenig bought a raffle ticket. It does include $500 of travel in the United States and $1,000. I am adding $500. If somebody from Eretz Yisrael wins, I'm adding another $500. So you'll have $1,000 of travel. And tomorrow is the last day. Basically, it's for 2 rooms. Each room is 2 beds. Each room is $2,000 value. So there's 2 rooms. Was noch? The Shabbaton, yes. The should try. It's unbelievable. It's like going to somebody's chassan, going to a family's chassan, $1,000. I know it's a lot of money, but it's a car payment, you know? It's like, it's geschmack. It'll recharge your batteries for the entire year. It's unbelievable. Unreal. You bought 2 raffle tickets? Geschmack. I hope you win. I hope you win. It is tzedakah. Gewaldig. And you brought somebody to this year. Who brought? You bought a ticket? Yeah. So now I'm confused. I don't know who to go for. I was saying he should go. He got 2 tickets and you got 1. I like you both. I don't know. Gewaldig. Okay. Huh? There's 2 rooms. Good gesagt. Halavai, each one should win. It would be great if somebody from Eretz Yisrael won. And Rabbi Sai, Sanhedrin is coming up in 10 days. It's an unbelievable opportunity to finish a large Masechta. It might be the largest Masechta in terms of words. No, brachas is not the largest. It's far from being the largest. No. It does not have, I'm pretty sure it does not. I'll bet you. It's Sanhedrin has over 100,000 words and brachas does not. Shabbos is the most and Sanhedrin is the second most. Brachas is number 6 or 7, but I'm willing to bet you. Brachas is very large. It might have the most words. I'll tell you what you meant. It has the most words per daf. Sanhedrin has 900 average words per daf, where Bava Basra only has 500. Brachas has even more than that. That's what you meant. What are we saying?
Tell me what I meant. I'll tell you what I meant.
I'll be wrong all the way.
Good gesagt. Sorry, you are wrong, and it wasn't the first time in this year. 118. Yeah, Shabbos is more. Sanhedrin is second. Brachas is a far fifth, 5 or 6.
Oh.
How much?
Ouch.
Bracha is 73,000.
Yeah, only a third less. Not about. Not you're pretty close. Pretty close.
Last is 89,000.
What?
Last is 89,000.
Even Bava Basra more, but it has 175 daf versus 67. Anyway.
The main thing is that he lost. It doesn't matter, right?
Okay. No, so what's so amazing about Sanhedrin is that you can make a siyum erev Pesach. It's very cool. You can get up there instead of doing a siyum on Horius 13 daf. You can make a serious siyum on over 100 daf. Good to learn Torah, and it's very gishmak. There's a lot of sugyas, a lot of agadata. It's very gishmak in Masechta. Rabbi Isai, the sponsors. Raise it, RAYZE.it/MDY for the raffle. Oh, and I forgot to tell them, there's about 220 people entries, so it's about 100 entries per room. So chances are not bad. The Masechta, sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnassa Chodesh, the last day. Zechraya ben Moshe, Chaya bas Yosef. Parnassa Chodesh, Yosef ben Chaya, Sara for Parnassa berevach. Parnassa Chodesh, Tzvi Spero. Refuah Shleimah, Itemar, Efraim ben balima. Parnassa Chodesh, Refuat hanefesh and go for Breina Bina about Miriam baila, or a bracha about Breina Bina, Netanel Kalev ben or a bracha. Parnassa Chodesh for fast and complete. Refuah Shleimah for Shmuel Nechemia ben Hinda. Parnassa Chodesh, nishmat Silya bas Dvora. Parnassa Chodesh, nishmat ben Yom Meir ben Ze'ev David, Hashem Yinkum Damai. Parnassa Shavuah, Refuah Shleimah for Yosef Shmuel ben Nechemia from his grateful family. Parnassa Shavuah is a schus that all medical tests show health, and may Hashem make it that it should be so. Parnassa Yoim, sukkahposters.com, in honor of all our dedicated MDY customers. Shkoyach, 2 years running. Gewaldig. Dudu Azaraf, in honor of Bitcoiners learning the Daf. Where's the money though? Is he the guy? I don't know if he's the guy.
Should be a Parnassa Chodesh before Bitcoin.
Yeah, it should be a Parnassa Shana, Dudu, Parnassa Shana. Bitcoin hitting 100,000. They made it. He said he wrote that they made a party in his office or something that it hit such a high. For his chus for rebellion, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Why is this a shaila? A guy. This happened to me, unfortunately. A guy comes into my house. I said, yeah, I gave him like a little money or whatever. He says, no, I'm not going to leave until you write me a big check. I said, entschuldigt. He said, it's not your money. Hashem gave you the money to give it to others. Who are you to decide? I'm not leaving here until you give me more money. Question. Is he over on an Isser or not? If you say, of course, you have to know what it is. What is it? Bal Tischat. There is such an Isser. There is such an Isser in the Torah, but Schid on Shabbos. What? Schid on Shabbos.
Is he still camping at your house?
So there is the Isser deraisa. Does anybody know the pasuk? I don't know the pasuk. It's right. It's called Ufakatati al kol loichatzav. On all the guys that it's like loisilchatz. Ufakatati al kol loichatzav. You're not allowed to pressure somebody. Not allowed to pressure somebody. Hear that?
Is he still married to you?
Ah?
Is he still married to your daughter?
Is he still married to my daughter? It's funny that you mentioned, because my son-in-law Meir, he's so scared. Like, if we go like shopping for suits, he refuses to take a suit. Anything we want to get, no, I don't want. He doesn't want anything. Zero. He'll never come and say, I need it. So, you picked the wrong guy. My daughter, on the other hand, is still my daughter. Yeah. So, am I allowed to write him a false check, some sort of check that, the top doesn't match the bottom, my signature is upside down, something, mess him up, give him a check and send him on his merry way? Yes or no? Are you allowed to? You say yes?
As long as it doesn't come to my church.
No. What? He doesn't want him to come to this change. I hope you'll pick it up.
Do you have another daughter that we could test?
No, what do you guys say? You're allowed to lie or not?
No. Yes. Nope.
Says Rav Yitzchak Zilberstein, in the name of Reb Chaim Kanievsky, also he says you're allowed to. In Mikesh Testapol, you're allowed to act like a, if he's a sinner because he's over on this Al Kolei Chatzov, then you're allowed to act like that. So says the Gemara like this: Omar Abaya. We do this today. You go to the bank, you give them a signature card so they can recognize your signature. I want to go to the Bezdin and give them a signature so they can recognize my signature. Don't do it on the bottom here like this. Let me show you. If you do it on the bottom like this, then I can fill out whatever I want. $10 million. Okay, no good. Somebody else will find it, and I'll throw in some words over there. No, so what if there's a signature? But since you signed it, you don't have two signatures. But if there's one signature from the Baldover himself, then I can go after the unencumbered properties, usually metaltalin. Go after metaltalin or something, and that's it. Says the Gemara, Mori the Gemaiso, Ahu Basbino, they say about Reb Chaim Kanievsky, I think it is. He woke up, he had a stroke or something. They woke up, so the doctor, the first thing they said, he sign your name. So he signed his name. Instead of signing his name, he wrote Yukum Purkan Min Shemaya. So what's this? He says, because it says in the Gemara, you're not supposed to sign your name on a piece of paper. Somebody can find it. So I gave a bracha. He's never seen anything like that. The first thing people do, usually, you ask somebody to write something down, they write it down. So says the Gemara, O Basbino the Osel Kameda Abaya. Basbino is a toll collector. I love this mice, so whether it's true or not, it's a crazy story. There's the zoo in America here. There's the parking lot for the zoo. It says $15 a car. There's a little booth over here. So after like 40 years, the same guy works there every single day. 40 years later, the guy dies. So the zoo contacts the city and they say, it's been already 2-3 weeks. Nobody replaced him. So the city says to the zoo, replace what? He said, the guy in the booth. He says, it's not our guy, it's your guy. They found out that the guy put a booth there, sat there for 40 years, and took a toll from every car, $15 a car, hundreds of cars every day. And then he died with millions. Somebody said it happened here in Israel. There's an empty lot in Tel Aviv, like in this. The guy put a booth there and started charging money. Guy did it next to the Russian guy. Okay, fine.
I had a client that was Jewish.
You had a client that.
My brother's a lawyer in New York. He had a client who did it.
Yeah. Hold on, time out. I always tell me during shir. So fine, Baruch Hashem, Gishmak, thank you for telling me there. I hate when they come after the shir. And by the way, my brother also had a client. No, what was the story? Let's hear, Beva. Say nice and strong. Brother had a client in New York. Two guys.
There's an empty lot in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They did this on the empty lot, parking for like a year and a half.
And the owner of the empty lot didn't notice that there was a booth there?
It was nothing going on over there.
But they didn't really put a booth. They probably stood there at night.
But it took a year and a half to notice.
Uh-huh.
And then they arrested them and put them in jail. And they called up my brother, can you get us out of jail?
Wow. So if you didn't hear, because he's not on mic, what?
But that's not the punchline.
Yeah.
After we got them out of jail, they made so much money in a year and a half, they actually bought a lot.
So his brother's a lawyer. They threw two guys into jail because they sat on a lot and they took parking fees. And after they sat in jail, they had so much money left over that they were able to buy a lot with the money that they... So that's the old Shiloh. How much money would it take, would you agree to sit in jail for a year? If you made $1 million, would you sit in jail for a year? Some people say, give me 40,000, give me 100, I'll sit in jail for a year. People that say that never sat in jail for an hour. Sit in jail for an hour, and it's not as simple as you think it is. It's Yisurim Neroim, talking from experience. Zog the Gemara. I said the story. When I moved to Israel, my son got arrested. I went with him. Anyway, the whole island knows. We're not going to go into it. There's a Friday night fight between groups here, and I try to make shalom. But why don't you come out here and say the story? Make shalom meaning I had to knock out a few people that they shouldn't start out with my son. No. They say there's a guy that tried to smuggle 5 refrigerators into the country here in Eretz Yisrael. So they said, what's pshat in the 5? He says, listen, I'm from Jew. I need one for fleishiks and one for milchiks. He says, okay, that's great. But why 5? That's 2. He says, no, Pesach also. You need one for fleishik and one for milchiks. No, but it's still not 5. So no, for one refrigerator, you make a whole story out of it. Zog the Gemara. There's a toll collector. I want to see what your signature looks like. Why? I'm going to do all your Talmidim a favor. Anybody that comes to me with a letter from the Rebbe, from Cheder, and says, Pliny learns by me, I'm going to give him a break in the toll, and whatever it is. But I need to know what your signature looks like. Says Gemara, Achvile, Bereish Megilta. So Abai starts signing his name on top of the page. Hava Kanogid Bey. So the guy starts schlepping. Here we have a picture of this. Here, right over here. Check this out. Abai starts pulling the page, and he wants him to sign on the bottom. Why? Because then he'll throw in the words on top. He'll say, Abai owes me $1,000. I learned in yeshiva, I learned the daf, I know the halacha, I'm not silly. I'm not going to sign my name on the bottom, I'm going to sign my name on top, and therefore you can't do anything about it. So before Shir, I asked Rabbi Nachman Seltzer to sign his name in the Zera Shimshon, and he did. So now, if I want, I could just go like this. And zoom in on this for a second. Now I have a whole thing here that says, I, Nachman Seltzer, promise from this day onward to donate all my Meiser money plus the Chomish money to MDY. With much hatzlacha, Nachman Seltzer.
Hello. Anyone with a little brain that sees it doesn't match the signature, doesn't match my handwriting.
Why? A signature is a signature. Signature.
Secretary writes it for you.
Huh?
Anybody, if you know my
As I state.
I'll contest it. I'll say it's not my handwriting.
I'll tell you what. If you make a stand on Friday with this, I'll be Michael. Shkoyach, Shamshi, Shkoyach. It's very close.
Facing a book, which is horrible.
You do anything for Shir.
Face a book like that.
Face a book.
Hey, rip the page of the book.
Come on. It's geschmack. First of all, this is unbelievable. This has so much more value now. We use this in Shir. Does anybody want to buy this book for double the amount it's worth?
I have it.
I'll switch you. No. Zog the Gemara. The famous Maisa, there's a guy comes to the city with a check from the Rav of his city. $1,000 the Rav gave him. So he goes to every single guy and says, look, imagine, the Chassam Sofer gave me $1,000 to my tzedakah. Look, I have a check from the Rav. What happened? This guy, and everybody gave him nicely because the Rav gave. Turns out that this guy went to the Chassam Sofer. I'm just throwing out a name. Stop. He went to the Rav, Rabbi Pessin, and said, Rabbi Pessin, I have $1,000 in cash. Do me a favor. Could you just write me a check? I want to schlep it to America. Write me a check. I'll give you $1,000 in cash. So the Rav said, why not? I get the cash. I'll give you a check. And then he took the check and he showed everybody. The Rav gave him a donation of $1,000. It wasn't a donation. It wasn't even $1 donation. It was just. So you got to be careful what you do with your signature. Omar Abai. Any word in Hebrew, 3, 4, 10, you don't put it at the end of a line, like so. Here. If you look at this, it's the 3 things. What could you do if you write shloishim? All you need to do is add a yud and a mem, and you get 30. It's now, instead of $3 million, it's $30 million. This is $1 million at the other end. So make sure you don't, that word is not at the end of the line. There's a lot of cheaters out there.
What if it's in the middle?
Oh, Dilma Mizayeh V'Kasav. So he might add a Yud and a Mem at that. V'Yisramile, but if, you're stuck, that's where the word ends up. What should you do? Nahadri Lidibure train plus Zimne. So you repeat this loan. You keep on writing it in the star. Oh, and I borrowed $3 million, $3 million. So you're going to get lucky once, and it's going to end up in middle of the line. So look at this. Over here it says, $3 million. And if you want to add a Yud Mem, it's going to come out very, very, it's not going to look good. It's going to be on top of it. It's going to be too, people will realize right away that there's a big problem here. It says, somebody wrote that he's going to sell somebody, he's going to give somebody a third of an orchard. A third. Ozal machke legage, the base. He took off the top of the base, vikare, and the bottom of the base, vishavye upardesa. So he's left over with the word orchard. So, Baruch Hashem, we have an in-house cipher now. Shmuel, beautiful ksav actually. Look at this. Now you could just zoom in. Let's see if you have the, see that? There's a beautiful ksav. You bought a Megillah from him. And he's a big Yerushalayim and Talmud Chacham. And he's part of this year, so. Tilda Bipardesa. So I'm going to try this. I tried it last night. Whoa, I don't want to cut myself. So basically, here, I'm going to take this, put it over here. Tilda Bipardesa, right? I'm going to try to take off the top of the base and the bottom of the base. And let's see. I just took off part of my finger. I'm not joking. Wow. Okay. It's oh, geschmack. It's working. Hold on, let me just show you my finger for a second. Hold on. Oh, you have a real band-aid? Wow, shkoyach. Comes prepared. Shkoyach. Wow, it's all over my finger now. Okay, I did it. I just want to make sure that the Now, take a look. I don't know if you can zoom in. Are you able to zoom in and see a vav? My bloody finger. We'll get rid of that. What does it say now? Tilta u pardesa. Got rid of the bays. I did a better job than the cipher. The cipher did it yesterday. Mine is this one. Okay, anyways, I like mine. We got it. It's just it's a razor blade. It just nicked me a little bit. It's fine. Get rid of it. Okay, the Seder. Or, what's his name? Kobe, thank you. He did it like this. If you want to see how he did it. Ani Nachman ben Kalman moicher shlish bipardesi lemiknei zayo lemekanya zayfane. To the, take a razor blade, boom, boom. Now, why does this look like it's a fraud? The space, the gap between the vav and the pei. So that's what Abaya figured out. Says the Gemara. The base, he took off the top of the base, v'kairei, and the bottom of the base, v'shavi upardesa. Also coming to Abaya. Omar lei, by time reviach le'alma lahai vav. Why is there so much space and a gap? Shkoyach. Very good. Now, nobody believed that I got nicked, because typically speaking, I'll put my finger in blood and this and that and pretend the boy that cried wolf. Shkoyach. So, Kafte. So Abaye tied him down to the pole as if he's going to give him Malchus now. And the guy was scared, Va'idi, and he admitted. Ahud Avik Sivbei, Minas Ruvain Vishimin Ache. The mana, the portion, the chelek. The portion of Reuven and Shimon, their real estate, I'm buying it, so and so is buying Reuven and Shimon, who are brothers, Ache. Says the Gemara, Havalu Acha the Shmei Ache. The luck of their brother, the third brother's name was Ache. A name not approved by Reb Chaim Kanievsky, probably. Ozal Kosav Bei Vav V'Shavi Ve'Ache. So very simple. Here we go. It said like this: Kana Minas Ruvain V'Shimon Ache, and all he did is he added a vav. Beautiful. Now look what happened. Now that he added a vav, it's the exact opposite story. The words V'Shimon Ache are now one long word. It doesn't look good. Also, so he went to Abayo. Why all of a sudden did the cipher not put a space between the two words? Something's wrong here. Kafte. So they tied him down, and he admitted that he forged the document. Chacham have the right to give Malchus. Yeah, could be Malchus is Dirabanan. It's Chachamim. They could threaten you. They could put you in jail. The Gemara talks about it all the time. The rich Galusa, beat up a guy a little bit, rough him up. I was started to have a chosim alei rava v'ravacha barado. So they didn't right away go to the violence. They tied him up, showed him we're about to, and usually that worked. That was enough. Says the Gemara, there was a star. The rava and ravacha barado were signed on it. Also they came to rava. So they came to rava. Omar lei dein chasimus yodo didihi. Says Rava, we have a little bit of a problem. That's exactly my signature. I don't know how you did that, but it's great. The problem is, I know for a fact I never signed the document together with Rav Achabarado. Kafte, Voidi. So they tied him down. Rava, like a baila, tied people down, and he admitted. Omar lei, and then once he admitted, he said, Bishlam di ziyaft. I want to know if you're really admitting the truth, because sometimes you just admit you don't want to get beat up. But tell me, I could understand that you could forge my signature. It's not a hard signature to forge. He's an old man. He has a tremble in his hand. How are you able to forge a trembling of the hand? Check this out. This is how Kobe did it. A tremble of the hand. You have Rava and you have a trembling thing. So he says like this. You wouldn't believe this. There was a shoichet that used to shech by the Divrei Chaim of Tzanz, and he's very old. Similar to, today, a guy's 97 years old, doesn't want to give up his driving license. The family begs. No, I know, I'm a great driver, better than you. So this shaykhit didn't want to give it up. This is what he did. He's proud of being a shaykhit, but he was trembling. His hands trembled. So the Divrei Chaim invited him for Shabbos, and after the Suda, he gave him the keyboard of doing zimun and he gave him a koshel bracha, filled it to the top. By the time benching was over, there's only about a half of the cup left, and he chapped that it was this hint that he should move on. So he asked him, How did you do this? Says the Gemara, Omar Anchi Yoda Mitzra. So I said this before, but I gotta say it again. Why not? When I was in Italy with Mishpacha, people told me, you gotta go, you gotta do this bridge. It's unbelievable. I said, are you coming? No, we're not coming. But take our kids. So why aren't you coming? It's a little scary. Kids, so we went. Here it is. Now, it's a bridge suspended between two mountains, two Alps. You can see waterfalls on the bottom, water. It's very high. I don't know if this depicts it correctly.
Pachad Pchadim.
That's the height. You can see it from the side of the mountain. Now, what happens is you go on this thing, and then a wind comes, and you start shaking back and forth, and you're tied in with metal clips. And every time there's like a metal, whatever it is, like a thing going downwards, you have to unclip and go around it. And you have two clips. What?
It's a via ferrata.
That's what it's called? Yeah. Via ferrata. Anyways, it wasn't geschmack. It was pretty scary. As somebody that jumped out of a plane and this and that, I was a pilot, the whole thing, this was scarier. So he says, Mama's like this, he says, put your hand on this bridge, bring the document, and don't worry, you're gonna get one of those vibrations or whatever, here, like something like this. As you sign your name, put your hand on the bridge, and it's geschmack. Like you think that you go like this. No, make it natural. Get a gesunte vibration from something like a machine, like a bridge. Stand on top of, like some sort of bottle or whatever, and your whole body's going to shake, and therefore you're going to get that tremor. All right, says the Eli Mishnah. So for this Mishnah, I think we should play a little bit of a game before we do the Mishnah, because I think it's simple, but if we do it together, it'll be very easy. The point is that whoever is the one that stands to lose from a certain document, and there's 9 of these documents in the Mishnah, he's the person that you have to ask permission for. If you stand to lose your house, then you need to be one. What's the word? No, asking somebody to write it for you. Whatever the word is. To sign. No. When you ask somebody, commission, to commission the shtar, right? That's the word. You're the one that has to commission it. You can't. The other guy, the guy that's facing you, he's not the one commissioning it. If you borrow money, so let's do this one by one. A man wants to divorce his wife. Who's commissioning the get in this case? The husband or the wife? Husband. Who has to pay for it? Husband. Now, a woman receives a ksuba. The husband receives a receipt that he paid the $100,000 ksuba. Who has to commission that receipt? Who stands to lose here? The husband. But the wife stands to lose because he's not going to pay her. He has a receipt, he won't pay her. If he has a receipt, he won't pay her. So she stands to lose the most. She's the one that has to commission it. Who has to pay for it? If she's the one that is gaining from this, or she's the one that she has to, so who has to pay for it? You would say the woman, but it's always the husband. Husband always has to pay for everything. A loan document, who has to pay for the loan document? If I make a loan document saying that so-and-so owes money to somebody else, who's the one that loses here? The loiva. So who has to commission the document? The loiva. He's in charge. Who has to pay for it? The loiva. When it comes to a sale, I'm selling a house. Who commissions the document? The buyer or the seller? Seller. So, okay, I see the olam is hopping on here. Who pays for it? That's a little bit of a trick. The buyer has to pay for it. Now we go weiter. Eris and Nisun. Now we're talking about the parents. We do this today. They get together, father, mother, the whole thing, how much you want to give, how much you want to give. Goes both ways. So who has to commission this document?
It's always the chassan.
Huh?
It's always the chassan, no?
In a way. But over here, since both are committing to this wedding, each one is giving a little bit of the apartment, so then who has to commission this? Both. Who pays for it? Both, l'chayra. Wrong. Chassan always pays. Now, when it comes to Aris and a Kabbalah, these are just the, farmers that take property for somebody else, but they share in the profits. I own a property, you want to work it, so you work it, you get most of it, or at least half of it, you give me half of the produce. Who has to commission the document? Both? Both. Who has to pay for the document? You'd think both, maybe. But over here in this case, the farmer, he stands to gain more, he pays for it. So says the Mishnah, there's one more case at the end, we'll see. A shtar berur. 3 lines from the bottom. You write a get for a man, even though the wife isn't there, but the receipt, she must commission it. So the Gemara is going to talk about this. That when you write a get and a receipt, the Eidim have to, they have to recognize the person involved there. The Gemara is going to say at the end, it's both the man and the woman, in both cases. They have to recognize everybody. Like we saw, the husband, he pays for everything. The turning of the daf is sponsored by Kinnovations Ilsinana, my uncle Rebbe Chanan Pressman, and Fischl should be Schusva Kivasim and Fego. She look for Refuat Chaya, and a huge thank you to Rebbe Stefansky, plus all the brachas. Donnie Feiner Roberts of Elite Israel Realty, welcome all the new Alim, proudly stand with you on your journey into finishing Shas together. Who commissions it? The Loiva. So let's just go through it one by one as we're doing it. Why not? Where is it? Right over here. We are holding, not over here. We're holding here. You can't write a star like that for a malva. The loiva has to be there. The loiva pays. Who commissions it? The seller of a house. You can't write such a star to the purchaser unless the seller is there. He'll take his house from him. And who pays for it? The lekeach noisin sachar. We're not talking about the chassan and kala here. We're talking about the parents of the chassan and kala. Both of them have to agree to write this document, the chassan, but the chassan pays for it. You have a person who takes a field from someone, the owner of the field, the wealthy guy is not going to be a farmer, he gives it to a farmer, he becomes an artist, he gives him a third or half of the produce. Kablanos is a certain amount, it's the same idea, but it's a certain amount regardless of the amount of the produce that comes out. Who decides this? Who writes this document? Midash name. Both of them have to agree to it. But over here, it's the artist or the kabbalah have to pay for the document. When you go to Bezdin to decide what happens here, then you need both of the parties to agree to write this document, and both pay for the document. You write two of these documents, you give each side a document.
Because no one exactly right.
What?
Why do they both have to pay for it?
They're both parties the same exact way. Who's more than the other? You say I owe you 100, I say I owe you 50, but we're both part of this. So in the first part, the get and the receipt of the ksuba, they have to know who it is when you write a get. When it comes to the get, you have to know the man's name, that it's him. You have to look at his license, make sure it's him. And to know that it's the woman who asked for the receipt. Why? Because maybe this man is actually commissioning a get for another Eishes. He wants to marry this married woman. He goes to Bezin and says, this is my name. In fact, not even his name. It's the name of another man, another woman, and he gives her a get, and she runs around the street saying, look, I got a get. But she says, the same thing with the receipt. A woman could go into a bezin. She might not even be divorced. She wants to help a co-worker at work. He's complaining that he has to pay all this whole settlement of the divorce. Here, she goes to a bezin. I, Rachel, so-and-so Friedman, received the settlement for my divorce, signed, I admit. It's not even Rachel Friedman. Her name is Chanagittel Cohen. And she gives this to not Rachel Friedman, she gives it to Rachel Friedman's husband. And now he has proof that he paid up the ksuba. Yosef, Rav Safra, Rav Huna Barchina, Yosef Abayu Gabayu, they sat there and they all discussed this. But they asked the question, what good is it if you know one name out of the two? Shema Ish Baget in Shema Ishab Loi. What, you don't need her name? Shema Ish Bashoiver in Shema Ish Loi. Ask the Gemara, what's the problem? Okay, you know his name. You know his name is Reuven. But there's 5,000 Reuvens in the city. If you don't know her name, maybe he lied and he gave a name of a neighbor. And now she's divorced the neighbor. Her husband is Reuven. How many people have the same name? Right? Their wife might have a different name. Okay, so we'll change the wife's name. Therefore, says Abayo, we need to know both names. So what's the Gemara's question going to be? Let's say you know both names. Maybe there's another guy in the city that has both names. His name is Reuben, her name is Rachel. His name is Reuben. So the guy will lie, and he'll pretend that he's getting divorced. The Beis Din say, "Oh, what's your name? Let me see your wife. Let's see all the birth certificate and everything." And they'll give the get to the wrong person. They'll lie. They'll use this get. Interesting, no? People are going to be over an age decision. They need a way to be over an age decision. Do a beheter. It's an interesting thing. And the same thing on a receipt. This I could understand. People want to lie about a receipt. Okay, she has a very unique name. Her name is Sara. There's 1,000 people that have wives that are Sara, and they're getting divorced from Sara, and they want a good receipt that says they paid up the whole ksuba. In fact, you are right. We need to know both names. We need to know both. You need both. Ask the Gemara, but even if you know the husband's name and the wife's name, maybe there's two of the same name. Yosef ben Shimon. The Gemara always uses this name, Yosef ben Shimon. People ask, but there is no person in the Torah, Yosef ben Shimon. It's Yosef, the brother of Shimon. Once saw a pshat. They say that Dina, from the parsha, right? Dina, Shechem had relations with Dina, and she actually got pregnant from him. And she told her brother Shimon, she's not going to leave Shechem unless he promises to marry her. There's a measure like that. Then she had a kid. She had a daughter. What's Dina's daughter's name? Osnas. Who did Osnas marry? Yosef. So that's why we call him Yosef ben Shimon, because in fact it's his father-in-law. His brother is his father-in-law because he married Dina. That's what, okay. Let's say Yosef ben Shimon. Hadorim birachas. Sometimes in shul you have people with the same exact name. Yeah. In Prushim, a guy has my name. His name is Elio ben Yaakov. And every time they call him up, I get all excited. I'm getting Aliyah. Wow, Geshmak. And I'm just kidding. And then, it's not Yaakov. Ooh, David. Oh, no, my father's name is Yaakov David, which is added after. Okay, fine. So you got to be careful. They say, if you know that two people have the same name in shul, make sure one of them is not there, or you go over to one of them and say, this is not your Aliyah. Okay. But there's such a thing. People have the same name. You write the same get, and you give it to the wrong guy. No, it's not a problem. Rav, in fact, instituted halacha. If you have such a situation that two people in the same city have the same name, and their father has the same name, and your wife has the same name as the other wife, then you have to bring both couples in front of Beis Din, and therefore there's no chash that you're going to do something without the other husband knowing. You know exactly what happened there. As the Gemara, wow, Mamish, we're going far here. What if you live in Bet Shemesh? So you go to Yerushalayim. No one in Yerushalayim has your name and your father's name and your wife's name. And you go to the Beis Din over there and you say, give me a get. And then you come back to Bet Shemesh and you give the get here in Bet Shemesh to the wrong party. Because of Gita, and you give it to the wrong wife and you tell her, hey, you are no longer married to that guy. This is what Rav says. Nobody's going to play this shtick for 30 days. So if you go to another city, so what happened there? The Gemara is asking, what if you pretend, forget that's your name, what if you go to another city and pretend your name is Yosef ben Shimon? Your name is Elio ben Yaakov. You pretend that your name is Yosef ben Shimon, just so that they write you a get for Yosef ben Shimon, so that you can give it to your friend's wife, not your friend's wife, so she can run around. Let's say she's an aguna. Let's say she has a bad husband that doesn't want to get her divorced. And now I'm thinking a reason why somebody would do something so stupid. A woman is having issues with her husband for 15 years. Aguna, the whole world they're threatening him. They shamed him. Everything, nothing's working. You come up with a murdic idea. You go to Yerushalayim. You say, my name is Yosef ben Shimon, but your name is not. And my wife's name is so and so. And then you give it to her. And she runs around and says, finally my husband divorced me. Now I can get married. And she's thinking maybe that this will threaten the husband, and the husband will finally give her a get. But it didn't threaten him. And then she fell into her own trap and she got married to someone. Anyway, she's throwing out. How did it happen? What? Okay. But she has, every time she's divorced, she produces a get, she has to do whatever. So says the Gemara, if they're dead, what happens? Says the Gemara, no. So you have to know, you have to be there for 30 days. They have to establish a name, and Memela, this is not going to happen. So what about Lois Chazik Mai? What if they didn't establish the name? How do you get a get? Omer Abai, so you go to another city. You want to divorce your wife. You have to wait 30 days. Omer Abai, the Kor Levani. You call his name, like the mice with the Noid Yehuda. The story is that the wagon driver decided, why should I be a wagon driver and I should drive around this wealthy dude? Let me beat him up. Let me grab all his clothing and his wallet, and I'll become the wealthy guy. I'll give him my dirty clothes, and he'll become the wagon driver. So that's what he did. And then he takes the wealthy guy goes to Bezdin, goes to the Nabi Yehuda. So the Nabi says, who says you're not the wagon driver? He says, I'm not, I'm the wealthy guy. And are you the wealthy? Yeah, I'm the wealthy guy. So he says, sit over here, wait. And he made them wait for hours, and they both fell asleep. When they fell asleep, he said, okay, wagon driver, come in. So the wagon driver, who was dressed up like the wealthy guy, jumped up and came in. He says, oh, you're the wagon driver. Kar Levani. When you, or the famous mice with the villain guy, there was an aguna, they say it's a mice Shaya, an aguna in the city. And after 20 years, this guy with white hair, white beard comes in. It's 20 years later, and he says, I'm the husband. Even, Shmerel is our kid, and Beryl, and Getzel. And everything lined up, but it was a little off. It was 20 years later. He says, listen, they captured me. I was in prison for all these years. That's why I'm skinnier. That's why I'm shorter. That's why I don't speak with the same thing. So the Vilna Gaon said, it was very close. The Vilna Gaon said, bring him into shul on Friday night. Don't say a word. Let's see where he sits. A person remembers his seat, and in fact, he went to the wrong seat. He said, okay, it's not the guy. So Zakti Gemara. Oh, I got to tell you this, Maisa, real quickly. I know it's almost Shachris. But what?
Much time of the story.
Yeah.
David Kedusha, he didn't think.
David Kedusha. He figured everything out. The guy was Tommy. He figured out all the children and how did this and this and that. Fine. Rav Moshe Feinstein was sitting at a wedding, and a guy at the table screams out, Moshe, pass the salt. Whatever it was. So Rav Moshe Feinstein took the salt. He says, Oy vey, Rashiva, I didn't mean you. I meant my son. So Ramesh says, what's wrong with you? Can't call me to pass the salt. It's like, no, I wouldn't call the Rashiva Moshe, it's Harav the Goladar. So the Anova Ramoshe, and then I thought about another Maisa that some lady called up Ramoshe Feinstein's house on Friday, and she asked, so some random person was there, picked up the phone, and she says, what time is Shabbos? What time is candle lighting? So the lady said, 6:20, but you just buy a calendar. You don't have to call the Rashiva's house. She says, what do you mean? I've been calling here 20 years straight. And this is the first mechutzav that told me to look in a calendar. Who do you think you are? This is where I call when I want to find out. Moshe Feinstein, Anova. So Gemara, Rav Zvida Amar. No, you can't call somebody. Why? Ramah b'Ramuse Zahir. A guy, if you're a ganav, you're this, you know how to work it out and make sure that when they call you the wrong name, the fake name, you know how to play it. So you have to actually wait 30 days until you can write a get. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.